What's up, people? Welcome to Relative Distance with Carla, aka CB, and Greg, aka G Dot, coming to you straight from the east and west coast of these United States of America. What is up, bruv?
Boop, 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 boop. What up, sis? Hold on, I got a sound effect.
We're officially here.
Pie. That's it. I made it. We got sound effects. We got production.
We're official out here.
Yeah, we are in these streets. We're in these streets.
Yeah, man.
Episode number 8. Episode number 8.
Number 8. This is all very symbolic. We're bringing it all together because today on Relative Distance, we have number 8 present.
Yeah.
I pay a little bit of attention, not that much.
Very nice. Yeah, we got a very special guest. Also, which represents number 8, which is a number of years in a row we beat Michigan. We've got Ohio State superstar.
We're going straight in. We're going straight there, ain't we?
We got Ohio State superstar, NFL retiree, Big Ten indoor long jump champion, 1999 homecoming king, Noodles, Drew Carter, in the building. What up, Noodles?
What up, fam? Oh,
what's up, Drew?
I mean, first off, that was amazing. I was thinking that in my head. I was like, they know my number's 8, right? Because I was about to say this is gonna be perfectly symbiotic. When she said it, I was like, okay, they on top of things.
We plan. We said we're going to start this podcast on this date, on this, so that when the 8th episode rolls around, it will be rivalry week, and we can bring Drew on. Boom.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's
time.
right.
I'm glad to be here.
We got a crack team of researchers.
This is going on.
Yeah, what'd you say, man?
I said,
Sorry, I'll stop talking.
Just going at it. Y'all, you said a crack team of researchers, and be like, why we turn around? It's like your kids doing paperwork.
We spend time on the Googles.
Yeah, for sure.
We're hungry, Daddy.
I'm happy to be
Welcome,
here.
buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have all known each other a very long time.
We have.
I can't even go back.
Now we're about to age ourselves real quick. Here we go.
I've been doing that. It's no secret. So he's the one that said 1999 homecoming king. So he put you out. He already put you out there, my guy.
Put it out there. Might as well just go ahead. I feel like I've known you guys since, man, I want to say 4th or 3rd grade-ish.
Yeah, I think that's
like that's
3rd or 4th.
Yeah, early 90s, obviously.
Yeah.
For sure.
You too.
Your
older brother was in my class.
Our parents know each other.
Correct.
That's the craziest part. They work together.
Yeah.
That's right.
I found out there's like a Solon posse. There was like a Solon parent posse that I didn't know about until this week. Like all the Black parents had like a coalition, and they would meet.
Oh.
I didn't know this.
Really? I have a feeling our father was probably not invited to that meeting. I'm sure Drew is at your house.
It was not at the house, because I never saw it. So.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah, no. Mom was telling me the other day. She was like, yeah, it was the Carters, and it was the Dawsons, and it was the Hinkles, and it was us. And I'm like, we had a whole on the Hobbs. So shout out to all of y'all.
Oh, okay. We must have had
we had a gang.
Phone tag back then, just a gang. Like, I don't know. I never saw the meetings. They must have been.
Where were they meeting at?
Yeah, over Wild Turkey.
Yeah, right. But I can see why, because I feel like what most of the times the stories that my father told when he said they moved out to Solon was the fact that like all his like close friends that are growing up in like Cleveland Heights where they were living before would like be like, you're going to Solon? I'm way out there? Like, why are you way out there? So I feel like the Black people in Solon were like that they met, like we would see somebody and be like, hey, let's be friends, kind of type of deal.
Exactly. It's another dark face.
Solon Square somewhere and be like, you live in this same community? Yeah, let's go ahead and be friends.
Let's meet at Cappuccinos.
So you more like these slam jams. Where you were in 3rd grade when you moved into Solon, right, Drew?
No, I literally was 1.
Younger than that.
Yeah, Grant.
Oh, okay.
We lived in Cleveland Heights before that, and right when I was born, and we moved into the house that my parents still live in today, 40 years ago, and I'm 39. So
Wow.
Oh,
literally,
wow.
yeah, they've had.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
No, yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm talking over
No,
you.
you're good.
No, what I'm saying, because I guess, yeah, I didn't meet you till I was in like second or third grade. So I guess,
Yeah, I just
yeah,
remember.
you don't exist. You don't exist until I met you.
Yeah, I think we knew. I think I knew about um like you and Carla more from just my brother and Carla being in the same
Right.
grade. So
Yeah.
it's like I knew
Oh,
about
yeah.
Carla, and I knew she had a little brother, but just because Grant and Carla were same grade, so it was like,
What's
you
up,
know, like,
Grant?
yeah, what's up, Grant? Shout out,
Yeah.
Trey.
Carla breathing hot into your window, checking to see what's going on with Grant. When she was in fourth grade.
Man, I just
That's
remember
how you heard about.
Carla had like the best hair. Her hair was so big and poofy, like going through the hallways. It was like, yo, nobody can compete with this type. It was like,
Wait, not going through the hallway like some ethereal Afro girl. What is
man, I'm talking about the best
Oh,
hair.
for sure.
Her hair was fucking fly. I was like, man, ain't nobody got hair like that. That shit was cool as fuck, man.
I wasn't that cool. I couldn't get a boyfriend. I couldn't buy a boyfriend. It wasn't that cool. It was them glasses. Them glasses were throwing it off. The hair was
glasses.
The hair was legit. I was cool. I dug it. It was a thing of its own. I loved it.
It's like I could just pull the glasses off and close my eyes. I could get with her. And I'll just touch her hair.
Oh man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was like She's All That, where it was like, ew, she's got glasses and pink shoes on. Like then you take the glasses off and you're like, you're Lenny Briggs.
You know,
It's
you
all
have
good,
like,
man.
memories of like, you know, you have certain memories of like certain people at school that you just like I don't think I've seen Carla in so long, but I have certain memory of like when we would see each other every day at school or randomly in the hallways, and it was literally the puffy hair, the hair with the starter jacket with the Michigan.
Oh God.
And I was like, man, I hate Michigan.
You know what's crazy though, guys? You know what's crazy? Like I was wearing that jacket. My cousin gave me that jacket as a Christmas gift one year. I had no awareness of the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. None. So I was just
Not
rocking
really.
this jacket. Like I like the colors. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? But like I didn't know I was getting them nasty looks in the hallway. I didn't get it. I was just like, this is comfortable.
I got it by around like high school, middle school, but like when I was younger, I was like, man, I had a Michigan like pillowcase or something like that, Michigan like random thing. I was like, and then all of a sudden I got a little older and I was like, I think it was because I liked the Fab Five at the time. And
Right.
And I was like, man, anything Michigan basketball type of thing, and that was my main sport, obviously. But that's like,
Desmond Howard was from Cleveland.
Like,
number 21.
But then I caught on real quick.
Right.
Like, I got brainwashed.
No, I figured it out. See, I saw the light, Carla. Like, saw the light. I don't know how you did the light. It was there for you, there for the take.
Listen, I was trying to be different. I was unique. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to venture out beyond I had no idea of the rivalry, mind you. But I was like, look, they gave me a lot of money. I'm going to go 3 hours up the road right up here and be by myself. And I was.
I'm not mad at that. No, I'm not mad at. I have some solid friends that I still to this day from Michigan, and I'm like, it's just a rivalry, but like for sure some cool cats that I met through up there, especially Detroit area. So it's like,
what up there, Detroit?
Yeah, the guys from Detroit always is cool as heck, but they're from they played in Michigan.
Yeah, well, our dad went to Penn State, so I don't think he had any skin in the game.
Man.
So he was there with Sandusky and Paterno.
Oh yes.
He was there during them years, them dark years. Them don't take a shower in their years.
Man, and those showers were terrible back then. Like those things were just like factory style showers. You remember like
Ugh.
Right, right.
like old stadium showers and stuff? They're like just one giant pole with like little spouts around the pole. And they're like, wow, showers. Like this is old school, like old not renovated stadiums where you're like, man, this has been around since like easily 50s. This
Since the
Yeah.
beginning.
yeah, walking in with shower shoes, like this is no. I
Are
don't
you
want to
saying it
watch.
was like that when you were there too? Like when
No,
you were playing, or just
not
like my dad's, like when he was sleeping, is showering in concrete with
there was
outhouses and holes in the floor.
yeah, there was some shitty like early night. Like I got there in '99, Ohio State, and there was some shitty stadiums that we played in. Like because we don't always play all just Big Ten teams, so sometimes you would go to a
Right.
game out of conference. You're like, yeah, and this is early '90s, so most stuff. That's probably more than 10 years old. So that's like mid 80s right there. So you're like, you
Drew,
know,
you were not there in the early 90s. You were there in the early 2000s.
early 99,
Oh,
2000.
right. Okay,
Late
yeah.
90s.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Yeah,
like,
late 90s.
yeah, late, but I'm saying late
Cash
90s.
money for the 99s and 2000s,
Yeah,
around
so
that time.
it's still the 90s where you're like, man, they haven't remodeled this thing in whatever years, and it's only 99, so that thing is old.
Right. Well, because they did the shoe your freshman year. They did the shoe.
Yeah, they redid the shoe my freshman year, and luckily
Yeah.
that was right when I didn't really get to experience what some of the guys say in the locker rooms were not obviously as new as it was when I got there, but other
Right.
stadiums, like I said, when you travel, are just like you're like, oh man, this is old school. I'm good.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. Don't,
So for
yeah,
the
don't put any
sake of,
black. Don't, good.
go ahead, Craig, you had something.
I was gonna say don't put any black lights in the Penn State
Ew,
showers.
ew. I should have kept
Listen,
talking.
Yeah, you should have kept
I
talking.
should have kept talking. So, for the sake of our listeners, clearly we all know each other. We go way back,
yes.
but we have people listening that have no idea who you are, Drew, or they do know who
Right.
you are, but they don't know your backstory. So,
Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about how you went from Solon to Ohio State to the next step.
sounds good. Well, yeah. Well, obviously from Solon, born and raised. That's why I'm still proud of that to this day. I claim Solon and
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio, or Northeast Ohio, always. Even though I'm living in Los Angeles now. Uh, so I went to the Ohio State University in '99. Graduated from there 2004 in a Bachelor of Science degree. Basically, could be a nice teacher. I was thinking about being a teacher before I luckily was drafted to the Carolina Panthers. Um, I was drafted in the fifth round um, in 2004, and I played there for 4 years, and then was a free agent and went to the Raiders for another two. And after multiple injuries, knee injuries, it was time for me to shut it down and move on with my life and career. And so pursued. I moved to Los Angeles, and I've been pursuing on-camera entertainment, TV hosting, and I've definitely delved into behind the camera now with the writing aspect. And currently, my girlfriend is a songwriter, and I've started partaking in the music, which Greg
Yep.
has been
That's
talking
awesome.
has been talking to me about a long time since I moved to LA. Just
Mhm.
him, we just been vibing on it anyway. So it's just a lot in the arts and just soaking it up and enjoying some quiet time. It's a lot more quiet nowadays than it was when I was playing football. So it's nice. It's actually a nice, totally different change of pace, and it's beautiful. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
So I love like you're humble because I am actually, as the Michigan girl, going to mention that Drew played on the 2002
Two. Yep.
national championship team, Ohio
Mhm.
State national championship team. He was part of the era that has continued to shame my beloved Wolverines
Yes. He
beyond.
started the avalanche. I feel like
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah. When Tressel came in, I feel like the avalanche began.
for sure.
yeah.
That was my
Um,
came in my sophomore year, my redshirt sophomore year, and ever since then it was we've been
and we'll get to the rivalry. But one thing that's always fascinated
poured
me
on
about you, whatever, we'll get there. One thing that's always fascinated me about you, Drew, is the fact that you didn't start playing football till your senior year in high school and had this illustrious like career. So like what drove you to football after being, because you were like majority like track was your thing, right?
basketball.
Basketball.
Or basketball.
And so growing up, just like uh, my father, we played so many different types of sports growing up. I was in everything, any type of outdoor games I was part of.
soccer in 7th and 8th grade, right? I remember that.
I played rec soccer growing up. I mean, my father was a gym teacher in early years of his career, and so we had a lot of different uh, things in the garage, put it that way. So I was learning how to play different. Anybody challenge me to badminton, anybody challenge me to field hockey, I could go. I know enough rule. Like we were just me and my brother were playing just lots of sports. So I just knew at a young age that I loved sports. Now fast forward, I started gravitating more towards certain sports, which you usually do when you get a little older. And basketball was my thing at the time. Like I said earlier, Fab Five was around that like early mid '90s, and I was in middle school at the time. You couldn't tell me I was wearing black socks. I was wearing longer. I was already ready to go. Like I was like, yeah, put me. I'm the Fab Six. I'm the number of the guy. Yeah, type of thing. So I mean, that was my game and that was my sport. I still love track and field. And I did love baseball, but it conflicted with track, so you kind of had to choose. Right. So my brother, who, as long as I can remember, was the football guy. He was.
For sure.
Oh man, I mean, I have old video.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. It was the old video footage of him, just like I mean, as a young 5-year-old running around with a helmet. Like I can always remember him about football, and I was never really like. I liked it, and we played it a lot, but it wasn't organized. It was just like backyard football and stuff like that. We played in recess and stuff like that. But he was always a football player, and so he just decided. I just followed his football career. Fall, when you go to Friday Night Lights, I'm like, I'm in the stands. I don't want to go play the game. This is more fun in the stands.
Man, it's lit in the stands.
Chasing these girls around, yeah, man.
Man, it was fun. It was just exciting just to be out there, like and everything. You're right. In order and
going to the sock hops,
right? Going to the sock hops there, just seeing stuff for the first time. And Grant, obviously, he got a scholarship to play football at the University of Minnesota, and so that was my junior year in high school when he left. And Coach Byron Morgan, who is obviously the man to this day, I can't thank him enough. He would just bug me in the hallways when I'd see him. And he'd be like, why don't you come off of football? And I was like, I don't know. Like basketball, I'm already doing basketball conditioning with Coach Guilfoyle. You're already doing stuff just like, all right, and he would be like, you should just give it a shot. And so I didn't do it my junior year. And then my senior year, I was doing so many different basketball things during the summer, early summer. I still was like trying to get a basketball scholarship. That was like my main goal. And I saw.
Had you been offered at that point? Had you had any offers? Basketball.
Yeah, at like smaller schools. I remember Townsend State. There's a school in Maryland that offered me a scholarship. A couple MAC school. Like I was getting letters from like Bowling Green. I was getting letters from Miami, Ohio. So it was like just getting those BS letters, but it was like instead of just quotes, like especially back then, it was just copies of just quotes and stuff. You're like, all right, cool.
Got you.
But I was getting letters, but it wasn't nothing crazy. So I ran into Mr. Morgan. And he was like, I ran into him and he's like, why don't you just come out and just try it out? And I was actually at NC State basketball camp with Eric Sanders. And I was like, easy. Shout out to Easy. And I was like, I can't come back right now because I'm at basketball camp because they were doing like a not really 7-on-7, but more just like pass around type of thing. I was like, I can't even come to that. And I'm like, he's like, well, just come afterwards. And I came back home to Solon and I went to like a couple 7-on-7s and he was like, what do you think? And I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I was like, it was fun. It was just, and plus I was friends with everybody on the team anyway.
Right. So, that helps. Yeah.
Like Daryl Moore and everybody. I'm just like this is just hanging out anyways, playing. And I kind of didn't feel like doing fall basketball conditioning because we had to run the mile early. And I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, I don't really want to run this mile. I was like, man, this testing is running mile is gonna be up there. Outside. It's already cold outside of the track. I'm like,
it was like a 7-minute mile, right? That's what you had. It was like you had to come under 7.
Yeah, for sure. I'm running up in basketball shoes like an idiot or something like that. But anyways, so I decided to do it, and literally, first game of the season we lost. I don't ever forget. We lost Strongsville, and I think
I remember that.
And I didn't have a ball thrown to me, and I was just like, but I was just like, this is fun. I'm just hanging out. But the coach was like, we're gonna try to work something different. And then literally the next game we played Twinsburg, and we had
Ooh,
a new,
rivalry.
yeah, right away rivalry, and we had a whole new game plan. And I had like 9 catches, 100 and some
Wow.
yards, and like
Wow.
touchdowns. Yeah, right
Come
off the
on,
bat.
adjustments.
Yeah, and then literally from that day, from that week, the second week, the next week, during the next week of school, I got a call from Kent State football, and they offered me a
Wow.
scholarship
What?
Wow.
after one game. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
They,
How did
and I
how did
never
that
forget.
team go? Go ahead.
I
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
I was eating dinner with my dad, and we're at the dinner table, and they call. I'm like, yeah, they're like, when I speak to Drew, I'm like, this is so and so from Kent State. We want to offer you. I'm like, Dad, and he's like eating a steak or something. I'm like, he said, offer me a scholarship. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna play football.
Wow.
Yeah, and literally I said that. He was like, well, he was like, just hear him out. And I'm like, all right. So I was like, okay, well, I told him that I was just playing football, kind of just to stay in shape and being ready for basketball season, and just just really okay. But I appreciate the call, and we'll see, type of thing. And then
Incredible.
each week I had I was on not gonna lie, I was just on fire. Like I was having, I was
How did
touching
that?
week. I was like catching 100 like yard catches. I was doing some crazy stuff. Now it's time. I'm old enough now to reflect. I'm like, man, that was a crazy like couple months because it
Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't.
because it was
It
fast.
was, it was so fast. It
It's
wasn't like I've
like,
been training for
yeah,
football. Guys been playing Pop Warner forever, and I just
Right.
like boom,
right.
2 months, and then I had a classmate, Mark Rhea. I had homeroom class with, and he would always be like, "Hey," he would like, I get letters, and more letters would come, and all of a sudden I had boxes of letters in the homeroom class every
Wow.
morning, and he'd be like, "Yo, you're gonna go to Ohio State," and I'm like, "They didn't even offer me a scholarship," and he's like, "You go to Ohio State." I was literally getting these boxes of letters from different coaches, and long story long, sorry, I've been
That's
getting.
all good.
It's
No,
all
it's good,
right.
man.
I asked you the question.
And he and literally the next week, Mike Jacobs, who was offensive coordinator at the time at Ohio State, was in Coach Morgan's office. He called me down from class, and I got there, and he was like, I'm Mike Jacobs from Ohio State." I'm like, "Oh, you
Wow.
came to the school. You
Wow.
came to the school." And I think right when that happened, um, it just coaches. I mean, especially it was weird even back then. It wasn't no social media, none of that, but it hit the
Right.
wire, and then whatever found out that Ohio State was interested, then just like the floodgates opened of all these other schools. All of a sudden, just trying to like Nick Saban was at Michigan State at the time
Yeah.
with Mark D'Antonio was the assistant coach, and they both came to my house. They both came to
Wow.
my house because they thought, yeah, Nick Saban's been to my house and
How,
Michigan.
Who
Or
can say
Michigan,
that?
yeah.
how far did that reach? Like, were you like getting like Florida offers or Texas offers or anything like that? Or was it?
Or just Big Ten
Big
Midwest.
Ten.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was on nobody's, you know,
No,
rising
right?
star list.
It
You
couldn't have
know,
been.
like I was on no like any type of like pre like season All American. Like nobody knew. Like it was just like
Yeah.
it was,
Just
and
like
then
lightning in a bottle.
yeah,
Like
like
this guy.
sure. And I tell all of my friends sometimes that we talk about random stuff. I say it was perfect timing where the lightning in the bottle because Randy Moss was the man, was literally the man at the time. Like, and this was the first time he was like a rookie or a second year at the time, and he was a 6'4". He's like literally my size. We're the same, like 6'4", 210, 215 pounds, and track guy. So all of a sudden, coaches
Right.
were like, "We got to find a Randy Moss. We got to find another Randy Moss."
Mm.
So like everybody was all of a sudden recruiting these taller receivers because back in the day it wasn't like super tall receivers. It was a few that were kind of tall, but most guys weren't 6'4". Most of them were like they're like, "You're too tall to play football," type of thing.
Right.
So, but now all of a sudden they were like recruiting all these taller guys
Mm.
because of Randy Moss, and that was the exact same time. Like I just played 98, 99. It was like you said, lightning in the bottle, and it just went crazy. That was the
Wow.
crazy blur of like couple months in my life. I still think about that.
Yeah. Can it just
And
change the whole trajectory?
Changed the whole trajectory of my entire life for
Yeah.
sure. All
and
off of just taking a chance. And that's like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like things I do and I attribute to my life still to this day of like taking chances and risking like what, obviously there's a lot of failure that comes with it too, but
Mm-hmm.
learn from it and a lot of things you're gonna like hardship. But man, taking that chance has definitely changed my life for the better for sure.
for
And
sure.
so that's something that I
So,
attribute to for sure.
all right. So you signed to Ohio State, and then you have a basketball season your senior year, right? How did? Well, first of all, how did the football team do? Do you remember? Was it like a?
we went 8-2, and so we missed playoff. This is when they didn't have like, it was a smaller
Right.
tournament, so you didn't have a lot of people to get in. So you got to be like perfect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
10
didn't get in.
games.
So it was right, yeah. And so right after that, basketball season. So
Right.
I just signed, yeah.
And that
I
was a
just
good season, if I remember correctly,
Yeah,
right? That basketball
we
season.
lost to Shaker Heights in the final, the city finals.
Right.
Oh,
Lost to
Right.
Shaker
And
Heights. We beat. It's always so funny. I mean, it was tributed. It's probably usually from high school, I guess high school, college, and pro, but it's always funny because I'm a Solon kid, so you play city school kids,
yeah.
saying like
Yes.
think you guys is just the softest kids ever.
right.
Solon.
Oh man, and then attribute that, and then it's obviously there's a whole nother dynamic in like the black community when it's like, you're this light skinned soft guy. They always think
Hello.
like guys are these soft
Right.
guys that are just like not are punks. I'm like,
Mhm.
man, okay. So always college, man, you meet a kid from I was always the fastest guy in my school in my grade, what I'm saying, from just
Yeah.
forever. So then you go to college and I went to college and you meet these guys from Florida and they're like
Mm.
these dreadheads, and they're like, you're fat. They're like, man. And then that was like my favorite thing to do. I'm going around the circle, but basically when we played these city schools like Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights in the city tournaments, they would take us for granted and we would run them. And that's why I
Mhm.
always love to do it because they always just think that a suburban school, these
Yeah.
random I can't play ball, and I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
and
roll the,
track
Surprise,
too.
nigga.
No,
right, roll the balls out. We'll see what happens. I'm
no man.
ready.
Do you remember the bullpens and track? Like like they're like, oh, you niggas from Solo, whatever. You don't say we didn't say nothing. Like, all right, we're about to get these blocks. We're about to roll
Man,
you.
especially the big meets, the big
Yeah.
the big invitationals in track, the big, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they literally would look at us like we are just like the other team that plays the Harlem Globetrotters. We're the
The Washington Generals.
yeah, the Washington Generals. They literally would look at us like we're the general. I'm like, they really think we're sorry because where's Solon? I just always remember like random ass people be like, Solon, where is Solon? I'd be like, what?
You'll learn
What?
today.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, you go find out today. You go find out.
I remember running like at the Euclid. We did like a 4x2 at the Euclid Invitational. They were probably 7 or 8 steps ahead. Like, I was anchored, and I walked the dude down, and I come across the finish line and give them a because they're because they were like, oh, so and so, because we were good. We were a good track team, but also that your senior year, you got was it? Did you win or get second place in long jump
I li-
out of nowhere?
I just told this to my girlfriend the other day, and because she saw a photo and it said it had the photos that used to be up in Solon High
Mm-hmm.
by the pool area and by the
Yeah,
gym. I
It was
think they
still there as of 3 years ago. I saw it.
okay.
Hall of
Yeah.
Champions.
Yeah, and so they had the photo up there in the state run. I was runner up in '99, and I lost by a quarter of an inch. The guy, I jumped 23.8 3/4, and he jumped 23.9, and I lost by a
Yeah,
quarter.
well, you PR'd by like a foot if I remember correctly.
No, I was already
So
jumping low 23s.
were you? Oh, yeah. I remember looking at the paper like, well, he did what?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember thinking it was a crazy jump.
definitely PR'd for sure. Then peaked at the right time, and
Yeah.
for sure. But
So
yeah,
you're gonna think I'm a weirdo. So when I went for my reunion, I was taking pictures at the Hall of Champions. I think I took a picture of your
yeah,
runner-up thing. So I'll put it on the Instagram.
yeah.
Yeah.
Put it up on the book. Put it up on the picture.
It's gonna be there. It's gonna be official.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, man. So all right. So you get to Columbus. You're young. You're 17, right?
Yeah, I'm getting
Barely.
done with my
Yeah.
grade already. That's another thing when I would think about, man, if I just had one
Oh,
more year, my
oh
actual
man.
graduating year, 18, to be able to play one more high school year has been whatever. But yeah,
On all three.
yeah,
All
right,
three sports.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I was young. I got to college, and I literally sometimes I speak to schools or speak to like youth groups, and I'll tell them this story all the time. I'll be like, man, I literally got to Ohio State and I did not know what I was getting myself into. I was like, oh man, I was like, this is another level, like just training wise, what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you're just athletes, and everybody comes in athletes, and that's when the difference is with the actual talent and like work ethic. Because the other
Mm.
guys have talent, you get that. Man, there's so many guys that so talented, but they just didn't work at it. So it's just like I was like, I'm ready to work at it. Let's just put my grind and figure it out.
Mhm.
Some guys would be like, I'm good, or
We
too late.
saw some of that with some of our Solon alumni,
Mm,
that had
Mm, right.
really great potential and
yeah,
get to that upper
Yeah.
level, like college level, and can't.
for sure. So I remember one of the first training exercises. The weight coach kicked me off the field because I couldn't get in the right stance. So I was just like, I was like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so it was just like you just brand new to so many things. But I got there and I had a great freshman year training camp, and they actually were gonna play me instead of redshirt me.
Mm.
And yeah, and so I got to travel. Most guys that are redshirt, they have to stay back and not travel with the team. I got to travel with the team because they're like, possibly we're gonna play you. And I'm like, mind you, I'm just 1 year off of just high school.
Right.
I'm like, wait,
Right.
what?
I played football for 3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, what? Like, man, come on. So I remember we are one of our first away games. I got to travel, and we went to Penn State.
Ooh.
We went
Mm.
to Penn State, and I
Big
never
game.
forget. And this is when they were #1 in the country with
Mhm.
LeVar Arrington and Courtney Brown.
Oh.
They literally, I never forget. I'm on the sideline, and LeVar Arrington hog ties our quarterback Steve Belisari like out of bounds, just full on manhandles him, throws him out right in front of him.
Penalty now. Penalty now. Right.
Penalty now, but back then obviously not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
I never forget, throws him like right in front of me. I'm on the sideline, this skinny little kid, just like barely just starting to lift weights. And I saw him walk by me and fix his face mask, and his arms were so big. I was like, I'm never gonna play. I was like, this is not gonna
I
happen.
made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy almost felt like the movie The Little Giants. I was like, dang. I was like, I could do all the workouts. Like I started like running and conditioning. I was coming from track.
Yeah.
Everything that was easy. But I was like, actually play. I was like, yo. But you got to mind you, I'm 17. He's probably like third. This is fourth, third.
36. 36.
Yeah, he's basically like 36. Like, oh man,
Oh, God.
man. So I literally was like, man. I was like, man, this is gonna be wild. I was like, there's no way this dude. I have to play against this guy. Like it just blew my mind. But you just stay the course, and I didn't have to lose my scholarship. I got to travel the whole year, but I didn't lose my red shirt, so I got the red shirt that season. And but I got to travel because the away game was at Michigan, so I got to see Michigan the first time, even though I'd had to play. So it was kind of like a cool thing to see without having the pressure of
Yeah.
being, unless somebody really got hurt and they put you in. But I just kind of knew I wasn't probably going to get in unless something crazy happened. So
You said something interesting to me once about the first time football made sense to you.
oh yeah,
Because the X's and O's and all the moving parts, like it's
X's and
chess.
O's, I was so I had to learn at hyper speed because everybody else was already kind of. I mean, even though it gets more intricate the levels you go up, but
Mhm.
a lot of guys had the foundation and the base, and
Right.
just I had like a couple months of just learning like my one position. That in high school you just learn your position and your one
Right.
route, a couple routes, and you're like, okay,
Mhm.
a couple of sets. But then you get to college and you're like, you got to learn all these formations. You got to learn what the defense is doing. You got to learn certain situations that's going to be happening. You're like, what? Yeah, like this is wild. So you're just
Yeah.
first couple years, you're literally, unless you're just like, you know, a LeBron, or something like
Right. A
that.
whiz kid. Yeah.
Yeah, whiz kid, where you're just like you're big enough, your body wise too. You're already just a big guy and you get it quickly. Most guys, it takes a year or two, just to get it. But
Yeah.
so I was on a full pace trying to figure it out, and I mean it worked out. But it's just the fact that like when I finally figured it out, it was like the Matrix. Literally, it was
Mhm.
Mm.
Matrix, but it was all through trial and error and messing up a lot of times. That's why I tell like people, like, talk to kids, I'm like, I messed up a lot of times. Like, don't think just like smooth sailing, like you
Yeah.
just got it perfectly and you're just like, oh man, you just been the man, you've just been killing it this whole time. No, I messed up a lot.
And you can't be afraid to make the mistakes
You
because
can't be afraid to make the mistakes. And
But
so
was there a moment though where it
Yeah.
clicked?
Exactly. So I remember it was probably like when I got to finally, we haven't talked about the injuries I had. So I had a couple of injuries.
Right.
That's a whole other thing. But when I finally was like playing a lot, that was my senior year. And we were playing Wisconsin at a night game, and all the scouting and all the stuff that we were doing to prep for it, if it all of a sudden just slow mode down, like a feeling. And I was like, and I scanned the field and I'm like, oh, I know, I get it now. Like I get every spacing, I get the speed of the game, I get what they're doing. Like it's just a whole weird type of, and all of a sudden like had a great game that game. And just ever since then, I knew I could play at that level. And that's when I was like, oh man. And then you think back like 4 years before that, you see LeVar Arrington, you're like, I'm never gonna play. And then 4 years after that, you're like, damn, I know I can play with these guys, and I know I'm better than a lot of these guys. Type of
wow,
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, you're just a weird type of, but it takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of work. I mean, obviously.
Well, I remember when you first came back from the league, and we were watching football. It might have been the first time you had watched football and not been a participant. In years and years and years and years. And you know, they had the master shot of the line of scrimmage, and a flag goes up. Oh, yeah. And we were at the castle, and then the flag goes up, and the announcer's like, well, I don't know what this flag is for. Drew saw it. He's like, oh, he's like, somebody did something with their hand. He's like, oh, you can't do that. It was like a DB like check somebody with his hand real quick before the snap. But like I was like, that's insane that you saw that.
Start being able to see the Matrix, man. It's weird.
Right.
My girlfriend, will randomly watching games, and I'm not like a Sunday football guy where I'm just watching all day. But I'll catch a game and I'll watch it, and I'm like doing other stuff, and I'll say the penalty, like there'll be a penalty on the TV, and I'll say it, and she'll just be on her phone and be like, "How do you know the penalty?" Before they say it, and I'm like, "I know exactly what," especially the ones that are just like a formation one where nothing really happens, but they're just out. Looks like a normal formation, but you just got to know the right formation or the penalty. So it's like, I mean, game within a game and type of thing where you don't really know that how much it gets intricate until you really play it at a high level. And then you're like, damn, it goes. Yeah.
So how much did Ohio State prepare you, do you think, for the NFL?
Ton, 100. I mean, fully. It was one of the top. There's a reason why it's one of the top 5 in the country. Like, sorry, not even bragging.
I'm gonna react every time. Just be ready for it.
Just stay back.
I can't help. It's like a gut reaction.
I know, it hurts, but I'm just saying, there's a reason why. Because fast forward to then, I got to Carolina when I got drafted to Carolina, and then you think this is a whole nother level of like, athletes and just people those are the few that usually are Hall of Famers and like just crazy good careers, because there's some guys that are just like beyond, like a LeBron, like I said, like just there's
Julius Peppers on your team.
Exactly.
Steve Smith.
So literally you see a guy like Julius Peppers or Steve Smith and you're like, man, that's elite level, like very, very great. But most of the guys I got there, when I got to Carolina, I was like, man, I have a ton of teammates at Ohio State that are just as good as you guys.
Right,
we have a great crop of players, basically what I'm saying. I'm like, we bring out the talent, lots of talent for sure, because you don't really see it. And I remember coming back to an Ohio State game. Actually, I went to the game at NC State when they played.
Oh, I remember those games.
In Carolina, because I was in Charlotte and I went down to Raleigh, and I saw Archie Griffin, and and he saw me because he knew I just left to the league, and he was like, how's it going? I'm like, he's like, good. He's like, you realized you could play with them, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, that's what Ohio State does. He was like, you don't really until you see it. And he was like, you play with all those same type of guys at Ohio State. I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah.
Wow.
We have, and you really don't see it until you leave, and you're like, man, we play with some ballers for sure.
Yeah, you had an exceptional career, man. It was, I remember seeing you. It's so weird. Was it the NFC Championship game? Was that your second year or first year?
Yeah, my second year. I was on IR my first year.
Right, man.
My third.
Yeah. It was your third tear, right?
My third tear. I tore one in 2001 in Ohio State. I tore the second one in 2003, the other knee, and then I retore that knee in 2004 when I got to Carolina, and I tore the last one in Oakland back to the first. and I just retired. But yeah, I could go way deep into that, but that's a whole other thing. But yes,
Yeah, no, man, yeah.
it was the NFC Championship game in Seattle. That was one of my favorite moments of life because a year before that I was injured.
Right.
I had just tore my ACL and I just don't even know if I'm going to play football. And a year later, my second year in NFL, I'm catching touchdown passes in NFC Championship game.
Yeah, awesome.
You're like one game away from the Super Bowl. You're like, what?
This is insane.
Yeah, man.
No,
He
you're
was
just
so,
like,
he was so proud.
Yeah, you just you trip out sometimes because you're like, oh man, I literally was this. What did I had a coach that at that game, and he was like, we're gonna look for you at the ball. I'm like, in my mind, I was like, y'all know this is a big serious game.
This was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And Jake Delhomme, one of the first plays, I had like two big catches. I had like a 45-yard catch in the first half, and it was like it was the second pass thrown to me. The first pass that was thrown to me, actually, I had a little quick route and I dropped it, and I never forget. I dropped it. It was like the first quarter, and it was like a 2-yard route, and I dropped it, and Steve Smith came off the sideline, like looked at me like, "You okay?" Like, yo. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And so the next series, this is like second quarter, they throw me like a 50-yard bomb. And when they threw it, I never forget, I was running down the sideline and I look up and the ball is in the air. And I was like, oh, shit, they threw the ball.
I always wonder what you're thinking, like the players are thinking in those moments. Like,
I was like, oh, the motherfuckers threw it. I was like, shit. I was like, grab this. I was like, better catch this fucking ball. Especially, I literally had it back in my mind. I was like, you just dropped the last one. Fucking catch this motherfucking ball. Like I was cussing.
Cussing yourself out, like.
Yeah, literally. I do that. I sometimes I get that. I used to do that to get myself hyped, but but literally, I caught, and luckily I caught it. And I remember getting up and just fucking celebrating. But it was the craziest because Seattle was so loud that I couldn't even hear Jake Delhomme give plays in the huddle. That's how loud it was that game. Like I would never been a louder game. The only other game I've been loud is Penn State games, maybe some games, but like Penn State is loud as heck, and
those whiteout games,
yeah, the whiteouts, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and Seattle was the loudest I've ever been. The 12th man is for real because literally Jake Delhomme was basically just I was reading his lips when he was giving the plays because I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like a third down, like a big third down, everybody's up and cheering. He really come in the huddle, and you'd really just be like,
I'm gonna assume what you said and hope it was right.
I hope it was right for sure. Jeez. And mind you, sometimes I would have to tell other guys what they're like. Like, there's a whole nother thing when you're sometimes not the first, you're not the starter, so you're gonna have to learn everybody's position. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to tell other guys what their play is because they don't really know. So you gotta. Sometimes I'm directing other people.
Wow,
man, wild the type of things you have to learn when it's definitely. I feel like sometimes it's harder than school on certain levels.
I can see that.
Obviously the pressure in the moment and something like that, but just like understanding the certain X's and O's, I'm like, man, this is and trying to figure out other people's positions at the same time. Your brain is like multitasking.
It's like that scene in the program where like the big linebacker, he's like in school, he's like read, and then they get him into the film room and he's like X7 offense, he's just reading everything, like he can't read a book, but he can read a O-line.
Yeah. It's a whole other language. It literally is a whole other language, man. And the crazy thing is like guys that do bad in school, sometimes I'll be like, man, you do so well in the field. It's just it's the same thing. You
can't translate it.
You just don't want to do the other school, the real school. You're just like, I'm like, you are smart, man. You know all this stuff. Right. School. That's the thing.
Well, to speak of your conditioning, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people don't know this about you. Tell them how good of shape you got in when you were playing for the Panthers. What did you do? What did you do? You did a pretty miraculous feat after your surgery. When you you did 26.2, right?
Oh,
you ran a marathon in Carolina. Right?
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's impressive.
Yeah. Marathon, and the crazy thing is, I ran. We did time trials, and I think this what helped me get on the team after my surgery. The spring we had 40s, and usually pro teams aren't doing 40s, but our coach did a 40. and I had the fastest 40 on the team, faster than Steve
Oh
Smith.
wow.
And this
Oh
was
my
after
God.
like five. This is like 9 months, 10 months after surgery, and so they I never forget because the Washington or it's Washington, the newspaper wrote an article about it saying, just how my speed was faster than Steve Smith, yada 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 yada. But it was just amazing that training and all that training from the marathon to just rehabbing my leg was just crazy how I could still come back with certain speed. But yeah.
Well, on that topic. So recently, Otto Bolden gotten a little bit of you know who Otto Bolden is, Carla?
Yeah.
He's the NBC commentator, former for
Yeah.
track and field.
Yeah.
I guess
What
after
country? Bahamas? Isn't he Bahamas?
Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago. But I guess he got into a bit of a Twitter war because everyone, there's a huge play at the beginning of the NFL season this year when Metcalf was it for the
PK?
Seahawks walked down. Yeah, and he walked out, and everyone was like, he's like the fastest man in the world, and everyone was like, dude, like Grant Holloway, who just won the world championships in 2019 in hurdles.
Yeah.
Well, people were saying he's faster than you, he's faster than Christian Coleman. Like, from your world, this is curious because it's topical. What's the difference between like football speed and track speed that you from your perspective? Have done both.
I mean, that's always a big topic for sure. You like during the players, and you just overhear coaches all the time. They're like, he's a track guy, or he's a speed guy, type of speed guy, because obviously coaches are looking for speed all the time. But sometimes track speed does not correlate to football speed at all.
Like your boy G Dot.
You could be really fast. You could be track blazing fast, but there's comes with some agility as well. And so
sure.
you can't just go north south all the time. And that's like, I am not one to be like I'm the most agile and I'm just juking people in phone booths and stuff. Like I can't. I have a teammate, Bam Childress. He's from Cleveland.
I remember Bam. Yeah, I remember Bam.
He's one of the guys that can just, literally make you miss in a phone booth because he's so quick. Like I'm not that type of style, but if you have the right balance, because you still want to have guys that are still obviously straight ahead fast, but if you can have the side to side type of agility with the fast, that's more football speed type of thing. And so,
well, you were a hurdler. Which
I was a hurdler. Yeah, and I think a lot of my agility comes from basketball too, because
soccer.
Yeah, a lot of soccer. A lot of receivers are ex-basketball players, or tight ends are ex-basketball players, because they know how to position their body and move and just move off the ball type of thing, and certain stuff like that. But there's definitely a difference between track speed and football speed. But the crazy part is football speed also, I feel like a lot of guys that would come out for track or come out for football, they were track guys, they could not catch a ball to save their life. They can run everything, but you got to do everything. You got to be able, that's what I'm saying. You got to run, catch, be agile. That's why and you're wearing like helmets and stuff. So you're just
and grass and turf are different. Like I remember like not being able to push off the same way on grass than I could on a track. I remember that being a big thing. Like where I'm like, oh, like I don't have the same bounce.
Yeah, there's turf speed and grass speed, and so that's why they used to always ask, like, if you run your 40, you're like, was it on grass or turf? Because you'd be like, turf back in the day was like that carpet. Like that thing was like, it was basically might as well be like,
right on shit. Might as
well be putting green. One of them. That's how like the turf was in Ohio State's indoor facility. It was like super. So it was like an ongoing joke with other colleges and other guys, like pro players. And like when I got to the NFL, they'd find out you went to Ohio State, and then they find out like if you're a fast guy, they were like, oh, you must have been running in an indoor facility there, because we had the carpet turf, and they're like, you must have been running your 40s at the indoor facility. Like it was just random stuff that would always come out throughout the years about that. I'm like, what? No, we'll find it. We'll see on the field who's fast. Okay, so
right.
Well, because there's like that Metcalf guy. I think. Who's the fast? Tyreek Hill, I think, went sub 10.
Tyreek Hill, the receiver from Baltimore. I forgot his name. He's He's supposed to be really fast.
Like sub 1000 guys.
Yeah,
You know, like
I was on a text the other day, and they were saying I forgot his name, but Hollywood. I think it might have been Hollywood Brown. He is a sub. He's a 9'9" guy supposedly in high school.
yeah,
He's
really.
Yeah, yes, and he's
Well,
fast.
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy fast. I've gotten into this argument with one of my friends who's a baseball commentator. That I say the hardest thing to do in sports is to run a sub 1000. Like it's not like, I mean,
yeah, there are very few people in the world ever are going to ever do that.
Yeah, consistently, like
yeah,
with no wind, with no tornado behind them.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely difficult to do. Definitely difficult to do. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So then once you retired, I remember when you moved out, you came down to LA, and you were like, oh, I like it here. I mean, I remember your leg dragging around the Renaissance Hotel. You're like, oh shit, I think I'm gonna kick it here. I was like, cool. So all right, so then you got into the acting, and you've been doing. So talk about that a little bit, about what you're up to now.
So when I stopped playing, it was more of just like, obviously, what do you do? You make certain tough things you've never done in your life, where you're always used to doing something. So I was thinking about pursuing hosting, on-camera hosting. So I moved out to LA because I was doing some local news and sports stuff in Charlotte. And I was 29, 30, about to turn 30, and I was single at the time. And I'm like, why not move to Los Angeles and see what I'm able to do? And
because you were in the Bay. Yeah,
I was in the Bay, and but I still had a residence in Charlotte at the time, and so I was kind of going back and forth. And mind you, that flight from Charlotte to Oakland, California, is one of the worst flights ever. It's 6 hours. You're like, I might as well be in Europe.
Right. It's the same amount of time.
Oh man, just a tough flight. But I was back and forth there, and then I finally decided when I was in Oakland, I was like, I would fly down to Los Angeles, and I'd usually hang out with Greg. And I kept coming down, and I was like, you know what, I might as well just see what I can get. If I don't like it, I could always move back to Charlotte, and bam, boom, pow. And I haven't left since.
Here you are. That was what year?
That was 2010, 2011, around that time.
All right, so you've been there a minute.
Yeah, I've been a minute. So I got into that and I got into some commercial acting and just started booking. It was kind of crazy. I started booking Home Depot stuff. I was just the early 30s boyfriend, Home Depot guy. Like, it was just the most random. I did some Ross commercials. I've done some Sony commercials. I've done some Nike stuff. I actually am still getting paid from Home Depot because they re-upped me because of COVID. I guess they needed some more. So shout out to Home Depot. Thanks for
residuals.
Getting all my getting my Christmas gifts, residuals. But yeah, it was something that I was getting into, and then I actually did an internship with Legendary Pictures production company.
That's right.
And I full on did an internship with them because one of the owners, Thomas Tall, is also a part owner of the Steelers, and I met him at a little like boot camp for filmmakers. So just networking, and that's one of the obviously names of the game, just networking and trying to figure it out. And I was just in this whole nother beast of the entertainment business. Like, my mom always is like, you picked the two hardest industries to try to
You did. You really did. Now you're moving into music.
But I don't know. I guess I just like challenges. And so I met Thomas, and he was offering this internship all summer through, and I worked in their creative department and just learned about script reading and covering it, and just certain production, and just learning like a lot of the technical stuff and a lot of the everyday stuff that you don't see. And you get to see a lot of cool things with just seeing the dailies of like different films being shipped back in and showing what their footage was for the day of different films that were made. And at the time, I never forget, it was like the movie, what is that movie called?
Was it Dark Knight?
No.
I Am Legend?
It was the cyber movie with what's Thor guy? What's his name? I just forgot his name.
Chris Hemsworth.
White Hat or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was directed by Michael Mann, and and I just never forget getting to watch the dailies. So I guess Michael Mann and the Warner Brothers execs were beefing at the time. So it was like, oh man, I'm in Hollywood just watching this. And they were like beefing at the time because artists.
He's difficult. Yeah,
he's difficult. Artists want to protect their art, and he was only sending one scene of all the stuff they shot. Like,
wow.
like eight takes of one scene. So we're sitting in the little theater, and like the execs come in the back, and we watched it together, everybody, and then he looks at it around, he's like, is that it? Like, is this it? Like, he was so mad. But yeah, certain things like that you got to see just was really cool, and you've always just seen it on TV because we're from Ohio, Midwest Ohio. You don't see no Hollywood stuff, so
right.
A little starstruck and just in awe for the first couple of years, and then you start really seeing the real like art, and you start seeing who the people that really are talented and want to be around and be here and be there for
you
like
kind of sort through the noise and kind of pin
honestly,
down.
most of the other ones that don't will be gone. They usually be gone in a couple of years. They don't stay around. They're just like, I'm going to come out here for a shot to do it, and then it don't happen, and then they give up quick and leave. So it's just a weird transition from obviously football to LA and seeing a whole nother industry and just navigating through. I mean, I've been to so many auditions for the most random stuff. Like, it's just like
I did one with you.
Luckily, none of the stuff to embarrass my family, which is good. I've never
right. Oh, I have. I have. Don't worry about it. I got that covered for all of us.
I did not. I was like,
I don't think I want to know what Greg's little story is.
No,
right here.
no, you're good. I called you after. Go ahead, Drew.
But no, I've never had to do that. So luckily, I got my experience has been great, and just seeing it and seeing how much honestly rejection there is. Like, there's so many people trying so little jobs. It's just like the fight. But it's just literally, I correlate the same feeling towards football. It's the same thing. So many guys wanted to play football. Like, so many guys.
Right.
All the guys I grew up with in Solon, but I'm like, I'm the one to go. I'm like, it's it's just You just gotta keep fighting. That's why I learned, and my things I'm gonna tell my kids is, man, you just can't stop.
Well,
just keep. See, you never know.
Exactly. Take some chances.
Speaking of that, all right. So you've been a high school prom king. You've been an Ohio State celebrity. You've been an NFL star. You have gotten into Hollywood and have been in the scene. You're now making music. You don't have any kids yet, right?
No kids yet.
Are you concerned that your junk doesn't work?
No, actually, no.
Okay,
like that is
good.
not a problem.
I don't even think about it. They're not even a thought. No,
I don't know how you don't have any kids at this point. It's amazing. This handsome ass guy. Pretty impressive.
There's things called protection. Also,
oh, okay. I've heard of that.
They sell them contraceptive. Yeah, they sell them.
Sometimes it's just good timing. You just pull it on out, right? Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta have some good old pull out. Hey.
I'm over 3 in that game. All right. So also between NFL, Ohio State, and Ye Olde Solon Comets, what do you think fraternity? Oh, and Kappa, you're a Kappa. What fraternity do you think runs the deepest? Like where do you feel like your deepest allegiances, or tugs at your heartstrings the most?
Solon, for sure.
Aw, so
right answer, buddy.
Solon.
Yeah, I mean,
I know the alma mater.
That was my whole life. Like, what I'm saying, I grew up. My whole life was Solon, and I can remember being like, I don't know, early high school, and I was telling myself how I don't think I want to leave. Like, so I was like, this is what I want. I just was. I didn't know anything about anything else. So it was like, I like this place. This is cool. Like, I'm happy here. I have my friends here. My parents are like, everything's cool. I can ride my bike down the street and just.
I think that speaks to why you could go to Ohio State. I can go to Michigan. We had people went to Michigan State, Minnesota, and we're all still cool. The rivalry doesn't trump the Solon.
The love,
for sure. Especially and then second would be Ohio State for sure, because you're with those guys for such a long time. Like a good portion of your, you really turn into a man around with those guys from
Sure.
17, and then by the time you leave 22, 23, you're like, man, we were definitely matured together. And also NFL is like that full business, man.
It's a business. It's a business, right?
Each year you have brand new teammates, like lots brand new. Even though college you'll get some freshmen, but most other guys will be there with you your whole 4 years.
Right.
But pro, man, only the guy, it's a transition every year. Just like, man, transactions. This is not like these are people, but it's
Jobs with the highest turnover rate.
But I've met some of your NFL friends, and they've got cool guys.
Yeah.
They're definitely fun to hang out with. But I guess it's just probably a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I have my boys, like my close boys,
Right.
you've been cool with, and they're like one of my really good friends, Kerry Colbert. We were drafted together. And he went to USC, and now he coaches at USC. But like those are the guys you obviously keep in contact with that I have like in group chats. But those it's hard to make like long-term friends when you only hang with the guy for like a year or a season. You know what I'm saying? So or half
Sure.
It's like being an army brat. It's like you're moving constantly.
Yeah, and it's in college too. I mean, any level of football, but it's just I feel like the elite NFL is just so many injuries. That just like it's just somebody's coming in new, somebody's hurt, somebody's like you're just like, man, it's you're just trying to survive basically. I just remember being like, man, just try to make it through the season healthy. That's what the goal was. Like just get through the season, and then we can figure out what we can do next because can't play if you hurt, So
yeah, man, you're very blessed though, man. Very, very blessed, and like I'm blessed to be your friend, dude. Because you were never I never viewed you as a rival. Like we were always teammates, which is cool. Which because there's other guys in our school who probably there was a different dynamic, which I think translated it. Because like I was gonna say, even with when I was on my show for a couple of years and the fame and all that, like, and you going down the street, people recognizing you. It was the guys from Solon who were out in LA. You weren't here yet. You were still playing.
Yeah, I was still playing.
Who kept me grounded.
Yeah.
I mean, when you moved down here, we were hanging out. There's a group of us Solon guys in LA, and
Yeah. It was definitely like a blessing to have you around when I moved to LA, or just like even when I come down just to hang out before I decided to move.
Right.
Just being like just help me navigate the town. Like you just need somebody just
to
help you, just give you some little like golden nuggets of just like information where you're like, man, I would not have, I didn't know this, or just even even fun stuff, just to be like, where's a cool bar at? I'd be like, cool, right there, you would tell me where to go.
Yeah, for sure. And then I wouldn't be able to get in. They let Drew in.
And then I'll just buy a table and be like, we're all
that only happened once. It only happened once. But no, man.
Drew could push the red button. You could not.
Yeah. I told her that story. I told her the red button story at Playhouse.
Yeah. Drew
we got kicked off stage.
It still gives me. First of all, it was Niggas in Paris. It just came out. So if no one's hitting that red button, I'm gonna do it because this song was fire.
You was niggas off stage after that. That's
niggas off stage.
I don't know how we got invited on, so that's the thing.
Rob.
Somehow.
You said y'all were rolling with somebody, yeah.
Yeah. So we're plus 1 and 2. Like we're not even the so we're supposed to just be the people who sit back, don't make a scene, don't fucking mess up anything.
So cause trouble.
But obviously we're having a good time, and I was like, man, press this button, man. And it's like
nobody puts baby in a corner.
They can put baby off stage. Just let's go have security.
Yeah, Greg's like, you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it too. And literally, we got kicked.
Well,
funny.
Apparently there's no sustainability to reality show stars.
We found out that day.
So I found out. That's what I found out, but quick.
Oh man.
Well, so how's COVID been for you, man? What you been doing? I know.
Oh, it's actually been great. I moved into a house with my girlfriend, and
nice.
Yeah, we have
congrats.
Like some space, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Everything is so congested in LA, but we have some space. Got a nice little lawn, so that was a big, exciting part, unexpected part. because we weren't sure we were gonna wait till after COVID or whatever, but we found something and we're like, man,
Yeah.
let's do this right now.
Yeah. Take it
But other than that, full on basically isolation is
Well, but it's amazing. It's amazing how much the time that it takes to navigate a move eats up the months of isolation. Because I did the same thing. Like I think, I started the moving process in like the middle of March and didn't finally get in until the end of May. So those first 2 months of lockdown, was constant phone calls and emails. I wasn't going anywhere, but it was just a constant focus. So then all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, it's June. We've been locked down for 3 months. Oh,
So it's definitely gotten the routine, which has been changed up since the beginning of COVID. Because the beginning of COVID, we were doing obviously the same thing over and over again. So now it's because we have so many different projects right now because of just moving and just trying to figure it out. Right. It kind of takes your mind off of it, but yeah, it's been tough because I haven't been able to go back home to see my parents, and so that's been kind of tough.
Yeah.
And it's been over a year, so you're just kind of like, I'm so used to just going back and being able to shoot the shit with them for, a week or two, or maybe less than that, and then be able to come back to warm LA or something.
Right.
It's
cool to go back and visit, but
I can't wait till you guys come to me. I love y'all. See ya.
Right.
Exactly.
But, come see y'all in Florida. Y'all ain't coming.
Right.
That Ohio winter is something.
I don't want to say you take it for granted, but you just kind of put it in perspective. You're like, damn, it's really like, now I'm kind of starting. You're like, I'm really missing them. Because
yeah, for sure.
You're like, rub your shoulder. Hey, mom.
When's the last time you saw him?
September of last year, my birthday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was written so September of last year, and then I was then I started to stay here for Christmas last year because I was like, I'll just go home early January, February, and then right when early January, February, that's when COVID started coming, and then kind of messed me up.
Yeah, but it's awesome, man.
So I would be remiss if I don't mention that for the first time in 103 years, our teams are not playing each other this year. And it's our fault because somebody can wear a mask.
Yeah. Someone's raw dogging in the Michigan locker room.
Whatever was happening with my boys in blue, we have had to cancel the past 2 games because we had to cancel a game last week as well against Maryland. So it's weird. It was already weird with the game being so late because I'm always used to that game being the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's you eat your turkey and then your heart is filled with dread. That's kind of how it's been for me the past 8 years or so.
I'm about to say, this past decade has probably been tough.
Because here's the thing: when I got to Michigan, I graduated in '97. So when I got to Michigan, Charles Woodson was there.
Yeah.
And that was the season where we beat Ohio State, went to the Rose Bowl. That's the iconic picture with him with the rose in his teeth. And, so that was my introduction to Michigan football. I was like, this is lit.
Man, it was right off the cusp of Fab Five basketball. So you just like, just rolling.
It was like the epitome. It was the height. So it was so easy. Because as I said beforehand, I wasn't a big college football anything. I even remember I don't try to bring him up every episode, Greg. My boyfriend at the time, I had my Michigan coat and he had his Ohio State coat. We used to be holding hands. Like it was just, had no idea. We probably looked like the oddest couple. Like, these people are confused.
Right.
They're not going to make it. But, and we didn't. But, I got to Michigan and it was like, oh, this is cool. I like this atmosphere. I didn't know anything about it. And so I was kind of conditioned in many ways to hate Ohio State, but being in the atmosphere of it all.
Oh, right.
Because I even remember my freshman year of college, because, with Solon, it was very Ohio State influence with the band and everything. Mr. Stein went to Ohio State.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So the first Michigan-Ohio State game, and I was at the game, and they started playing, dan, 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 dan. I'm like,
grab your hands.
Yeah. This is wrong with you.
I'm not clapping.
But I didn't even know that was the Ohio State fight song for Solon. I was like, that's a Solon fight song. I didn't know they knew it.
I go to Roxbury or did you go to Lewis?
I went to Lewis.
I went to both.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you were
Yeah.
split.
I went to Lewis and Roxbury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, Roxbury had a fight song too, but I think it was Notre Dame actually. I think it was made like they spoofed it off of Notre Dame's band song.
Really?
Yeah, but it
We
was
were so confused.
yeah. Whatever.
Oh,
Wait, that's the Michigan fight. Wait a minute.
No, that's Michigan, right?
That's
But
Michigan.
I'm trying to remember the words for Roxbury's. Small Roxbury kids are the best kids of all. So we'll always keep on saying hooray for Roxbury. Yeah. So
Shame on you.
Get out of here.
I had that in my brain, and I used to hear it, and I'd be like, "Wait a minute, Roxbury?" I'm like, "What is this?"
Why does Notre Dame know Roxbury's song?
Yeah. Oh, they rock with
I
Roxbury.
think the principal back in the day went to Notre Dame. Or something.
Clearly.
Yeah.
He influenced the entire, but yeah, like the Solon band would do the script Ohio and the whole thing. I'm like, that's fun. So the interesting dichotomy of going to Michigan is basically the majority of the students at U of M are from Michigan. So they have a blanket hate for the state of Ohio. And I'm like, well, I can't co-sign that part. But you know, that's school in Columbus. Can't do that. But don't hate on the whole state. Like I had to have this weird, like, calm down. Ohio's cool. Cleveland's cool. You know. But yeah, I had a good friend. I have a good friend that went to Ohio State. We would come down, you know, during just for fun, go to Columbus. We stayed at the dorm. What was it? The Tower? The Towers?
Yeah, that's where I stayed. The Towers.
Get out.
Yeah, that was my freshman year, 9th floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't run no black light in there either.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, not
probably before me because that thing. They are kind of old.
Yeah, for sure. Those things are old as balls.
Yeah, no, it was like 98 when I stayed there. So it was right before you got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we just would come down and kick it and be at Ohio State. It felt so awkward. But at one point we were at the Wendy's somewhere on campus and my friend, bless her heart, hey Yvonne, decided to scream "Go Blue" at the top of her lungs at the Wendy's. And I ran out. I was like, I know better. Like there's things you just don't do. Why are you gonna incite a riot?
It's not the place. It's not the place to do that. Ohio State fans, you know, we ain't no pushovers. So
it's violent.
Might get a nice little, what is that, a 99-cent meal.
You're for
dumped over top, a nice little icy dumped on top of your head. So
right.
You know, I just made a connection. So Carla has a friend down in Tampa whose son went to Michigan, but is from Solon and beat my track records. But Drew, I think you talked to him during his recruiting process. What is his name, Carla?
Corey Crenshaw.
Recruiting process to.
But he was leaving Solon, and you talked to him on the phone. Oh. And I think he ended up going to Michigan.
He ended up running track and field for Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a football scholarship, but I think he won. Actually, I think he won states in the 100 in Solon. Okay. But I remember you talking to. For some reason remember you talking to this kid. Yeah. Because I was aware of him because somebody told me that he had broke some of my records.
Yeah, I told you that because I know his mama.
No. Candace Burns, Wally's sister, told me that like she might have been around the same age.
I reiterated it then.
Yeah, you reminded me of it.
You're welcome.
But yeah, no, it's just a completely random connection. But I just remember you talking to him during his recruiting process.
Got you.
Interesting.
And he was all starstruck talking to you.
And he's here now I haven't seen him in a while because COVID, but he's down here in Tampa now.
Because COVID.
Followed my whole life, Solon to Michigan to Tampa. I'm like, you just want to be me. He's a really nice guy, though.
Well, he might make a skin suit out of you yet. But so Noodles, your first Ohio State Michigan game, like kind of experience, you were on the field.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I got to go to the game.
Right. But that was it wasn't a big deal in Cleveland, not really.
What do you mean?
Ohio State, Michigan. At least not in my house.
Oh, it wasn't in our house. That was the thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, in our house.
Yeah, Browns Steelers was bigger in our house than
Michigan Ohio State. Steelers was actually bigger in our house too, for sure. Yeah, but it was. I knew about it, but I didn't know like this first time being at the big house, first time seeing the stadium.
Sure.
So,
It's wild.
blew my mind with that. And that was like the second time my mind was blown from the first time just going into Ohio State Stadium and
Right.
first time ever playing. You're like, oh my God, this is.
They get to Michigan, like, wow, this crowd's bigger.
But it's not as loud. That's
Yeah.
because the bullshit. I'm not blaming it. It's just the structure of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But-
We understand acoustics.
But the coolest thing I always love is just how close the low you are to the grass, to the field.
Mhm.
And so when we got to the stadium and I got on the field, I remember my receiver coach at the time, Coach Chuck Stobart, he like looked at me. He was older guy at the time, and he basically retired like a year or two after. And he looked at me with a dead serious face. And this is what I was just like, okay, like we said, Ohio State, Michigan wasn't like,
huge. It wasn't
Yeah.
yeah.
Drew. He's like, don't ever forget the big house. I was like, okay, coach. And I still didn't get it. I was like, okay, big house. I'm like, cool. It's big. It is big. It's loud. This is cool to see a lot of people at one place. But then you start seeing the real tradition. You're like, man, this is not.
Intense.
This is not a game. This is more than a game for sure.
Mhm.
Like this is for real. Like you start seeing just through the preparation, just like the whole week of like from the equipment people to just the staff to everything. You're like, man, this is not like even the band. The band comes out tradition wise, comes to the practice like our Thursday practice before the Michigan game, and we get to do this Script Ohio with the band, like just
Interesting.
like, yeah, and like
That's cool.
yeah, it was always cool.
I
And then it
guess.
was always the funny jokester that we had on our team, but it was probably for everybody. But ours was a guy named Mo Lee who went to South High actually, and he always he was the major or whatever. He would come out with he would do all his funny Cleveland dances, and, and he would dot the I or whatever. It's it was a memorable time of that moment. That was like the first time I realized like this is way more than just a game.
Yeah.
And so each year, like you start growing and growing more. And just
right.
That one thing I do regret, or not regret, I just sometimes sad about is my senior year. I got hurt 2 games away from
Yeah.
and it was like it was like the 100th game or something crazy where it's like,
oh, I remember that game.
yeah, it was like one of the most historic. And I tore my knee 2 games.
Oh.
So I missed the Michigan game my senior year. So I was kind of always like hurt about that one.
So I feel bad for the kids this year. The game is just canceled. Like there's no
game. That's
for the
like,
seniors. It's done.
Man, I would be, especially just playing 5 games. Like you'd be like,
that's
what
tough.
Is it? And you don't even get honestly, like, yeah, you love playing with your boys and you love playing this game, but you also love it because of the fans that love the game.
Right,
so
right.
the fans were there. It's just like it's a different feel, You play for the fans. You play to win for them because you love how they cheer for you and like back you. So I couldn't imagine playing 5 games with no fans and stands and just you really gotta. I mean, you really just got to focus on just like your boys and like how it's like, because even just getting hyped for a game, you don't know, just trying to, there's a lot of different mental preparation that I think it was tough. It's tough for all the players in any sport right now with COVID, but especially like college football where there's no fans and you're just out there playing a scrimmage game. Like you can hear everything. You usually can't hear anything.
Right.
So it's total mental, I don't want to say mental fuck, but just basically something where you just got to change your whole outlook on it. And with playing against Michigan is definitely one that I think is always going to be memorable compared to any other game that I played.
I mean, I remember when you got hurt because I think I was working at a bar, or I was working at Cheesecake Factory or something, and everyone knew that I knew you. So you got hurt, and everyone was like, yo. I was like, I remember them pulling me off the floor. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And but then but I was more paying attention to you as my friend than I was. I was living in Columbus at the time, but it wasn't like, I remember that year 2002. I was like, oh man, well, hopefully they get it, But like,
that was
I remember Miami looked huge. Miami looked like they were an NFL team.
They were. All the guys that were on that team were all pro from this,
Yeah.
Don Taylor to Willis McGahee to
Brian McGahee, he
Jonathan
was sick.
Like there's so many just players that were, but yeah, the 2002 season was definitely one of those like magical seasons. Kind of almost felt like my senior year in high school. You know, we're just like,
Right, right.
everything is working right now. Like we're playing overtime games and we're winning by the skin of our teeth, but we're winning. Like, you're just like, what is going on? Like another overtime game. You're like, and we last second pass. One of my best friends on the team, Michael Jenkins, caught the
I remember that. Yeah.
the Holy
Indiana?
Buckeye against Purdue. Yeah, like it was
Purdue,
4-1. And the crazy thing is, I don't think anybody ever knows it, but both of the guys, Grant Gamble was on the field. They both ran the wrong routes on that play. Like it's just like crazy things. The crazier things have happened, but we pulled it out each week. And so the fact that we got to play Miami before we got into the national championship game, we were like, yo, we're good. Like we're gonna win.
Right.
We're gonna make this. And so the thing that drove us was Thomas Matthews was a Miami, Florida guy. He's a linebacker on our team, and Thomas Matthews went back home to Miami on Christmas break before the national championship game, and he got all these flyers from just random club promoters and stuff that already had like back-to-back Miami, because Miami Hurricanes won the championship the year before. So it was like back-to-back parties, come back January, whatever, hosted by Ed Reed and Willis McGahee. Ed Reed was already in the NFL, so it's like all the guys already like come back. It's like back-to-back champions. So he brought all those flyers up to Ohio after Christmas break, and we put that thing on the bulletin board. And motivation. We were like, man, he's good. And literally, we worked hard. I never forget like flying to Arizona and the training that we were doing. Just like it was like nobody was fucking around. Everybody was quiet on the field. Like it was just a grind. It was like one of those like well-oiled machines where you're like, yo, we are on like we peaked. Basically, we said it earlier we peaked at the right time. Like it was we luckily there was no injury. Like everybody was healthy. It was just like perfect storm. Like y'all are doubting us too. So this so it was like, let's go.
I was supposed to work a night shift at whatever restaurant I was working at the time, and they cut me at 4:30 because Columbus was a ghost town.
Ghost town.
Like I've never seen anything like. I mean, the only thing I could probably liken it to would be driving through like Hollywood in middle of March.
During COVID?
During COVID, like there's nobody on the street.
Which I did. I did that one day. And I was like, whoa, this is empty. Like, Hollywood Boulevard, empty. I'm talking about not one person. You're like, man, this is spooky, Bill. But anyways.
Yeah, man.
I gotta respect. You know, you're my boy. Yeah. We go way back. So I give respect. The fact you were even on that squad is like that awesome. Impressive. Had that experience.
It was an amazing experience, and also just the fact that the year before I just came off my first ACL tear. So I was just like happy to be healthy, and we're winning, and we're playing. You know, I'm not playing, even though I'm not playing as much as I want to play, but I'm like just being on the squad and the team, just being there. That definitely gave me motivation for the next year when I finally became a starter and just being,
right. But you know, man, like you did, the way you made it is the way you were supposed to make it, man. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't want to, sometimes it's hard to accept, but it's just like the way you made it. It's supposed to like it's
man.
Reason for things happen the way they're supposed to happen. You're like, you don't see it until afterwards, but you get it.
Yeah.
So my question is this. The rivalry goes way back. At what point does this stop being a rivalry and start getting bullied?
Well, I would liken the Browns to that scenario. Like the Browns Steelers.
But
man, like they don't.
The Browns having a good year this year.
That's fine, but I'm talking about the 20 years before. Like. Can
I real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Never. No. It's never going to be a bullying. We're just going to keep doing it.
No, we're being bullied right now.
Keep doing it.
We're going to be a bully. We're just going to
bully. And the kid being bullied will eventually fight back. We'll just figure it out one day.
Well, I do. I said this to Drew. I'm pretty sure. I was watching the Michigan State game last week, and they said, well, they've got to play Michigan next week. That's going to give them their six games. And I was like, they're going to cancel. Michigan's going to cancel and kind of put us in the junction to see whether or not we get any sort of just because they're petty.
One thing we
they're petty.
doing
Petty
is ruining your postseason. If we can't, we'll try to
ruin it. Yeah, man.
This is my thing too. Past decade, we have given you ample opportunities to beat us and do things. We have messed
One
up.
of those games was a bad call, though.
No, it wasn't.
Let me do my research.
It wasn't. You're talking about JT Barrett.
I am talking about JT Barrett.
That was by a foot. That was a clear foot.
See, that's the thing. But you go back. I know there's a couple plays before that something happens that could have changed.
Right.
It wouldn't have mattered. It might goes back to the one play, but it's like, oh, that's the same thing with Miami fans. Would be like, oh, the pass interference. I'm like, they don't know that literally 3 plays before that, Chris Gamble caught the ball inbounds, and that would have been a first down, and we wouldn't have to punt the ball, and then Roscoe Parrish would have turned it. We would have been in overtime. So like things like.
Or like that, the Clemson game last year when like they targeting on Trevor Lawrence when it was
ample opportunity. You have tried multiple coaches. We have given you so many chances. Even during even we had between coaches, between Tress and Urban Meyer, we had Luke Fickell, and even though he's thriving in Cincinnati now, he's a beast. But like it was some down years, and we still were giving that waxing that in.
We're trying to recenter ourselves.
Oh man,
we never got better after Lloyd Carr. Losing Lloyd did something to our program, and we have to recover. We thought Harbaugh was going to be the answer, but he hasn't given us what we need in order to.
Yeah.
And we could win every other game, but losing to y'all and losing to Michigan State, and
is who can you replace him with? You know,
I don't know. That's the problem. We thought Harbaugh was the answer.
Grand slam. Harbaugh was the grand slam.
That was it. We threw parties because Harbaugh was. But it was so funny this week, like seeing the reactions of the Michigan fans and the Ohio State fans when the game was called. Like every Michigan fan I knew was like posting celebratory, like praise the Lord. And Ohio State was so pissed off. Like
I'm calling shenanigans. I'm starting to call it shenanigans.
I'm calling COVID.
Did you see the spread in Vegas? Did you see the spread?
It was 29 points.
Minus 30. I saw minus 30. Let's go.
Man. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh took his tight ass khakis and went and waddled into the
fact that we gave Penn State their only victory was like, I'm done. This whole season, we should have just kept it canceled. Man. That's how I feel about it. But hey, shout out, Big Ten gave Ohio State they waived the rule to get into the postseason, which I think is undefeated.
You called it, Drew. I haven't seen that yet because I've been working all day, so I didn't look into it.
Yeah, that was yesterday because I was trying to talk trash in somebody's DMs, and they were like, "You're wrong.
Yeah,
we have a postseason." Okay. I was like, "Since when?"
They go let us in. They can't. We have too many ratings, too much ratings, too much money to bring into
the golden children of the Big Ten.
Well, I thought they said maybe we were going to play Texas A&M this weekend, but
that was more of just a long shot for sure. It was like. That would be best scenario if people were smart enough just to let people kids play, you know.
Right.
It's like, yo, Texas A&M needs a game, so how about we just play? But they're like,
yeah,
a lot of just like, man, it's like a mess.
Yeah.
Right. One day it'll be fun again for us.
One day I don't know.
One day it'll be fun. 97 was fun. That's all I have. I can go back 20 years. Like
you go 90. What's Desmond year? Desmond Howard's year.
That was before that, 93.
95, 93, 95, something like that.
But that's when I wasn't paying attention. I was in high school. I was like Solon Comets. You
still have the series lead, I think.
It's whittled down to I think we're up by 6 or 8 games.
And the fact that y'all were playing football 30 years before we even started.
Yeah.
It's like y'all in Yale, Michigan and Yale have the earliest, I guess. The most wins
with the leather helmets.
Yeah, the helmet. Drew, your ball cap has more protection than the helmets they were wearing.
I don't know. I comprehend that they were just running into each other with them leather helmets and stuffing their socks in their pants.
Yeah.
For thigh pads.
It's oddly it remains fun until the week of the game, and then it's not fun anymore. But in the meantime, I caught it. I moved back to Ohio after graduating from after getting my master's, and so that week of the year, I caught it.
We get it, Carla. You got a master's
from Michigan.
Ugh.
Anyway, but living as a Michigan grad, living in Ohio was a very stressful experience. I hadn't experienced the first time around being in Ohio, and because I didn't care at that point, so I moved away.
Mm.
But yeah, that week was always tough. So I think the 2 years I was there, 2.5, 3 years of the Michigan Ohio State game, we lost all 3 games, and so it was
not, yeah.
no fun.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I mean, even Kurt Herbstreit had to move out of Ohio because he was getting heckled by Ohio State fans. Because you know, Kurt Herbstreit, the
I know he is, but why was he getting
Well,
heckled?
yeah, I know.
Because he's an analyst on ESPN, and he played at Ohio State.
I know.
Right.
But he had to move his family out of Columbus because it was just too much. Because the fans would always be like, he's being biased, you know, like just very just.
You're joking.
He's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be biased. So he's
right.
like, he's just straight up. So fans would always just give him grief about things, and he was just like, you're heckling me, like I'm around my family and stuff. So he moved out of the state.
Because Michigan fans think he's biased. Like, I hate when he calls our games. Like, get out of here. Why are you here?
But I know that Ohio State fans were, I guess, giving it to him too much. Like, and so he just like, I got to move my family somewhere with him. Just bug me every day. You know, especially in Columbus, you know.
Sure, Columbus is a crazy town.
They brought Chuck Woodson on, and he's like, I don't care, I'm biased as hell. Like, just bring me on for color commentary because I am not gonna call this game.
Right, exactly. Charles does he do pro or does he doesn't do pro?
He was doing college. I saw him doing. I don't know if he's still doing pro, but they brought him in. There was some Michigan. Who were we playing this season? He was so pissed off. It was every game it was where our DBs broke down. Our secondary broke down, and I was like, this is trash.
That could be any week. That could be any week.
It might have been Michigan State. It was somebody that we should not have lost. Well, all the games we should have lost to. I heard you. I'm ignoring you. Nigga.
Oh yeah, they were pretty. The DBs were bad.
They were terrible. They kept getting beat like every route. I was like, I can't. It's all Chuck was, because he was the corner, so he was pissed. Like, bring me in, I'll play.
I know when Desmond Howard has to talk about it, you could tell he's hurt because he's like, let's get this. Come on, like,
you can do
professional still, but it's like, man,
my legacy. His legacy is intact. It's just
he's like
trash.
Hey, we produced Tom Brady. That's fun.
Yeah, kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, I mean, like, he wasn't like a star coming out of Michigan. He went like in the 7th round. Like, it wasn't like he was like,
It still groomed him.
I mean, okay.
You got to give him time.
I'll give you Tom, and I'll give you
Tom D. Brady.
And I'll give you Woodson.
He was there at the same time I was. Charles Woodson almost hit me with his car once. That was fun.
Ohio. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Desmond. So just like, I'm okay. Okay. So
Michigan produces Ohio. People go from Ohio to Michigan are wonderful people.
We're going mad long, so we should probably work our way to the finish line.
that makes sense. Okay, that's true. Yeah. All right. So
it's too much fun, dude. It's too much fun, Noodles.
We'll bring you back because it's fun. We'll bring you back. So what? No, shut up. So we didn't do the what in the world. We normally do that at the beginning, but I wanted to quickly hit. This is breaking news. I want to get you guys' thought on it. I just learned that Marvel announced today that they are not going to recast Black Panther. That Chadwick is going to let his legacy be. I know I'm completely shifting gears here, but they are going to let his legacy be, and they're going to continue with Black Panther without Black Panther.
How's
without T'Challa?
So a new Black Panther, like his sister.
There was conversation about it possibly being Letitia Wright as Shuri stepping in as Black Panther. But I don't know how much y'all are aware of this, but last week, speaking of football, she fumbled the bag. She went on some online spree about anti-vaxxing, in the midst of COVID, and turned off a lot of people, possibly her employers. Because she's very, very religious. She's very openly, religious and outspoken about it. And so she shared some information about anti-vaxxing and how the COVID vaccine may be dangerous, and it turned off a lot of people. So hopefully she'll has a job. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully she'll have a job. And the fact, I can see both sides. I would love to see the legacy of Black Panther keep keep going a little bit. But I think Chadwick, obviously, you can't replace him, so that's a tough decision. But it's also, I feel like he would possibly, I'm not speaking for him, but he would wanted to keep going because of how much it's made a mark for so much of the Black youth, and just just to see that type of character. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure they'll do it in a way where it's going to be done right, So we'll see. But I saw that earlier, like one of the headlines, and I was like, I was really like, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
How much of it did they film? Any or none?
They haven't started it yet.
Oh, they're in pre-production, I guess.
Yeah, they just confirmed people are staying on, and they're gonna move forward without T'Challa.
I saw that with a lot of Disney stuff that came out today. Of like,
they were just dropping all of the information.
Man, all the stuff.
Well, it's like Warner Brothers said they're going to release all their movies on HBO Max.
Yeah,
that's got to be forming this decision a little bit.
Disney was like, I'm going to drop I'm going to drop this, drop Star Wars for you. I'm going to do the what else did they say? They got Christian Bale at one of the characters and one of the stuff. I was like, they're
bringing back Hans Christensen as Darth Vader. They're like Oprah, like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Like they were just like dropping everything. Like deal with it.
Hans Christensen, that's not his name.
That's not his name? I'm thinking Hans Christian Andersen. What's that boy's name? Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
I was being poetic. Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, his proper name Hans. Oh,
I've had a lot of whiskey. It's empty.
All right. Well, I mean, the thing about it is, get off social media if you're making any sort of money in the entertainment industry. Get off social media and stop tweeting everything that comes to mind.
Right.
Because our current president should probably do the same thing. But it's like, dude, a 3 o'clock in the morning tweet is probably not going to be heard well, received in the message in the sense it was sent.
Save it in your drafts.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Write it all out. Get it all out. Express it.
Journaling.
Yeah, just chill. Like,
man. Yeah, well, I think that's probably the right call for Black Panther, but I mean, they're going to have to do something where it's going to. I mean, probably making her the next Black Panther. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They got to figure. They got a lot of money. They'll figure it out.
Exactly. With the billions they have, they'll come up with something.
They even got something with Samuel Jackson. I saw too.
I missed that.
He's supposed to.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. He's getting his own series.
Nice.
Oh yeah, on ABC or something. It's like a teleseries or HBO Max somewhere.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney.
Yeah, whatever it be. Yeah.
Whatever you got to pay for.
Disney, anything you got to pay for, because Disney over here with Disney's got the Star Wars, so they got
Mandalorian. Yeah, you watching that?
Yep, I'm watching the Mandalorian.
I haven't started season 2 yet.
I'm on like fourth episode, season 2.
Carla, you watching it?
No, I'm sure it's nothing compared to Power Book 2.
Oh,
so I am. That's where my allegiance lie.
No, first of all, the name is the Tariq Show. It is not Power Book 2 Gross.
What?
Did you watch Power?
Did you watch Power?
Oh,
Power? All right. So the strange thing is,
you have to watch Power.
Drew and I have a mutual friend who is Ghost's brother. He looks exactly like the dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like the show's fine, but
I've seen episodes, but I haven't watched the whole season or the whole.
It's
very serious. It's very serialized. You gotta watch. It's like Breaking Bad, where you gotta watch episode.
I also had one a mutual friend, actor J.R. Ramirez. He was on there.
Oh right. He was what was it? Rigo, the dude. He was like the Latino dude who.
He was Latino. He was.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He had a good death scene though.
Yeah.
I did actually see the death scene. I think he had a
spoiler.
He had a sex scene with like Lala or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got it in. Yeah,
lucky him.
No, I remember talking to him once about. I was like, dude, like, it was like season 1. And I was like, yo, dude, like, think about The Wire, man. You could be like the Bubbles, like, you a small part, like in the first season that becomes integral, which he did.
Yeah, he made it. But yeah, I never used to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, and now there's like a spin-off show. There's like 5 spin-off shows.
I know what you're talking about now. And Mary J. Blige is like one of the main leads, right?
Correct.
Yeah, she is.
Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Accurate.
she got nominated. She got nominated for a Golden Globe, I think, for whatever movie she did. She thinks she's
The Netflix movie.
The Netflix movie. Yeah, she thinks she's Meryl Streep with this bitch, man. So she's like, she's really going for it.
Man, did you know the Lifetime thing was supposed to be? Was that a joke with the Mario Lopez?
That's real.
That's real.
Recipe for Seduction?
I thought it was a meme.
Listen. My friend posted it on Instagram. I sent my friend a message like, I don't get the joke. And then I looked, I was like, this is real. Like, I had no idea. There's a whole trailer for it.
Full length? Is it a full length?
It's a mini movie, whatever that means.
Okay, yeah,
but the trailer's about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's when I'd be like, man, I was like, how do things get, sometimes when you learn also, I mean, Greg does for sure. And I mean, Carly, Greg told me you have a communications background. So
yeah.
you just know in general, like how hard it is to get things like on air. But I'm like, how then you see things that are on air and you're like, how does this get made? Why are not like how let's get greenlit? Who greenlit?
It's insane.
Who's making these decisions?
Yo,
did you watch the trailer?
No,
yes.
I haven't watched it though.
You gotta watch it. No, I know you did, Carla. You gotta watch the trailer, man. It's insane.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
The pictures are so funny because Mario Lopez is dressed up like he's got this like salt and pepper hair and this buff, like muscular, holding this woman.
I saw the photo. That's why I thought it was a meme. I was like, why they got Mario Lopez being Carl Sanders?
I was like, I don't get the joke. There's nothing funny here.
Dude, Mario Lopez, man, that's the homie though. Like, I tell you what, like, they did the Saved by the Bell reunion. I didn't watch it yet, but nobody's getting anywhere near the way he looks. He looks like he's like in the college years.
Yeah,
he looks the same.
Yeah,
that dude's winning, man.
He's been killing it for a while.
Yeah, but Power Book 2 is it's troublesome. But I'm watching it. I'm committed, even though I cannot stand the main character. I'm here for it. None of it makes sense. I hate everybody, but I'm gonna keep watching it. Mm-hmm.
Well, they tried to do something, Drew, that like is, so they made a villain of 2 characters, I guess. Like, they did villainous things, and then they made a spinoff about them and try to make them the heroes. Like, it's just not working.
Gotcha.
It's like Mayans MC kind of like. I'm kind of like,
Sons of Anarchy, and then trying to turn the rival club into the heroes.
Yeah, I got through the first season. I'm like, this sucks. Although I think and I'm gonna hot take here. I think Sons of Anarchy sucked, and I'm saying it as far as rewatchability.
Blasphemy.
All right, so what I've heard about that production is that the actors were getting so confused about like what their characters' intentions were that they had to put next to their lines, "She's lying here" or "He's lying here." Because I just randomly watched like a season 5 episode once. It was on TV, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Like all the actors were chewing the scenery. I was like, "This is just."
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
A lot of storylines, a lot of shit going on, but I enjoy.
I loved it when I watched it, but I just don't know how. Like, it's not Breaking Bad. Like,
it's not Breaking Bad.
I couldn't do that ride again. Like, I couldn't go back and watch Sons of Anarchy.
That's a high bar. Breaking Bad, The Wire.
Yeah, Wire.
Up here.
I'm not rewatching.
True Blood.
I rewatched Breaking Bad with my girlfriend because she's never seen it. I was like, I will.
Oh yeah.
That's rewatchable.
Did you watch the movie too afterwards? You watch El Camino afterwards?
You watched El
That's
Camino?
awesome.
Yeah.
Also, she over here like Jesse Pinkman. I was like, we didn't know who he was. Not even like 2 weeks ago. We binge watched it. Now you're like,
now he's your fave.
Yeah, she's like,
you know what I'm
like, I know what Heisenberg is. I'm like,
that's right. She finally get all the references from 2009.
Right, Kristen. Yeah, that's the same guy.
That's Malcolm in the Middle. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what she said. She's like, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle?
You keep watching.
The dentist from Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Or here's one thing I know you guys probably haven't watched that I would tell you to watch with subtitles on.
Oh boy.
Is Deadwood on HBO.
That cowboy
Western.
show?
Yeah, it is. It's modern day Shakespeare. It's
Okay.
beautifully done. They did a movie because it kind of got unceremoniously canceled. Actually, they filmed it up here by me, but it got unceremoniously canceled after like 3 seasons. Just kind of like it was a cliffhanger or whatever. Boom, canceled. So 12 years later, they made a movie.
Wow.
And it kind of wrapped it up. And
Okay.
I was like, I want to watch the movie, but I need to get back into like kind of what the series is,
Mhm.
and it's amazing.
Wow.
So
HBO's good, man. They do well.
yeah,
Great stuff.
yeah.
Great content.
Because the new Sopranos prequel's coming out on HBO Max. That's going to be released on the app next year. So I call the Saints of something or other. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
lots of movies to watch.
Yeah.
All right, will keep us busy over the holidays.
Yeah, for sure.
So Drew, we have monopolized enough of your time. I want to thank you
Yes.
for coming on our podcast and chatting with us about life and football and how much y'all hate Michigan and how much we dislike y'all, but it's all love.
The smell of hot dog water.
I start sneezing every time I go to Columbus. It's just, I can't help it. It's just a gut reaction.
The smell of fresh air can hurt you.
No. It's all the toxins in my nose. At any rate, so
that's the smell of victory.
That's the smell of Ford car plants all the state of Michigan.
The emissions. All the emissions.
I love y'all for real.
I love you too, brother.
Yeah, man.
Even though I haven't seen Carla in a long time, but
it's been a minute since Gregg's 30th, so it's been Gregg's old, so
Gregg's old. I haven't seen Gregg in a good couple months, maybe like 14, but it feels like we've been hanging out every day. So
yeah.
Well, man, I'll shoot down to the crib soon enough, man. I'll part in your couch cushion soon enough.
Oh, nice.
So Drew, I'm gonna post that super lit reel that is on YouTube of your NFL highlights.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna post a link to that on our show notes so that people can kind of see some of the things you did while you were in the league.
Yeah. You want to plug anything? You want to plug your SoundCloud or anything? Or
no, I plug my girlfriend J Lauren Music, J Lauren 808. She's a songwriter and she's amazing.
Killing it.
Awesome. Does she have socials? We can post her socials on there. Send them to me after, and I can put them on.
Greg follows her on the gram. We can
okay.
Check it out.
Awesome.
She's legit for sure. But that's it. I love y'all. I love Solon. I love Solon.
Man.
Much love.
Forever and but yeah. Till next time.
Hey, can you see it?
What is that?
It looks really tight, whatever it is.
No, it's a Solon. It's dark. You can't see. It's a Solon, Ohio.
Great showing us his nipples, everybody, for the not watching.
You know what I thought it was? I thought it was the thing that we get our senior years. Everybody signs your shirt. Remember everybody?
Oh, the senior shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was your shirt. I was about to say, man, you kept that thing? I wish I had.
This was Mr. Nitzkoff. So he had the what was the photo place called in Solon? But he used to sell these shirts where it was like SeaWorld.
Oh, I remember that one, yeah.
You see it? Hold on, let me turn the light off for a second. That might help. There you go.
No, still can't see it. No. All right.
Whatever. I'll take a pin. Whatever.
Yeah, the YouTube people gonna be like, I don't know what happened. So to all of you out there, you can find us on Instagram at Relative Distance Pod, POD. Send us an email at relativedistancepod@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube. We're posting our videos now on YouTube, and you can stream us wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm not even gonna list them all because if you have a podcast streaming app, we're on there. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to our show. And until next time, anything y'all want to share for the good of the people listening?
Send nudes.
The V. Send the V.
Wear a mask. Wear your mask.
Yeah, wear a mask, dude. Let's get out of this. That's good. Yes. I mean, you can do both. You can send a picture of you nude in a mask.
Yes.
Nobody's looking at your face anyway.
Where's what's that?
Yeah.
Until next time, go blue.
Oh.
OH.
IO.
In the building. All right.
Peace.
Peace.